partner doesn't love me anymore. Perhaps he has fallen out of love. What do I do? Maybe this heart-wrenching thought has crossed your mind recently. There are two things to recognize. First, even though there may be some signs your husband isn't in love with you, you can't know for sure until you actually talk to him about what's going on. There may be an infinite number of reasons why your husband may feel distant or seem unloving at the moment, even though he may still be in love with you. And secondly, if you're worried that your husband isn't in love with you, you have a problem whether or not that turns out to be true. The fact that you're questioning these feelings at all, it's a signal that something needs to change in the relationship so that you can feel more secure. Because many people may wonder, if your husband says he isn't in love with you anymore, that doesn't necessarily mean he loves someone else or is in love with someone else, if that makes sense. There are many reasons why people fall out of love, and most often it has to do with people simply growing apart. Maybe he's going through a transition, or maybe you have changed. You've changed without realizing it. So, what do you do if you think your husband isn't in love with you anymore? Number one, identify what changed in your relationship. If you're worried that your husband isn't in love with you anymore, the very first thing to do is to get clarity. Get clarity on where this story is coming from, where it all began. What dynamics are you observing in the relationship? What feelings are you experiencing? And what attitude, what behavior is triggering them? Find out where these feelings are coming from and figure out if this is a real or perceived change. Let's move to the next, which is number two. Talk to your husband about it. Yes, that is the next thing to do. After you've identified the change, bring up your feelings and observations. Make them known to your partner. I cannot overemphasize the importance of communication in a relationship, especially marriage. But remember, as you communicate with your husband, be open, be honest, and be respectful while you have this conversation. When talking, use I message, not you. And also listen carefully to your partner's responses. Take time to let the responses settle in and try not to be defensive. Be willing to hear his feedback and responses. Avoid the blaming game. Try to avoid the blaming game, yes. Do not accuse nor assume. Let's move to the next. And number three is to decide on what to do next. Once you and your partner has clarity about what's going on, and he has shared whether or not it is really true that he is no longer in love with you, then you can mutually talk about it, and discuss what you would want your next step to be. And number four is to make changes together. And if you both decide that you're willing to work on your marriage together, then it's time to start making small changes as a couple in order to create feelings of intimacy and affection in your relationship. Try to come up with a plan together on how to get back on track. Remember to be patient with yourself and your husband as you work together to repair your marriage. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe, like, drop your comments. If you have any questions and contributions, don't forget to drop it down below in the comment section. Please, before I sign out, I would like you to watch this next video.